Hey everyone, it's Dan Turkoviga. Welcome to Palm Beach, Schlesisches Tor, Berlin. Tonight I have for you a 20-minute Bowspring yoga practice to optimize dynamic and balance movement in our bodies. We'll create a fullness in our ribs throughout the practice. We'll work with opening the sides of our body and we'll find space and strength in our hips. So don't be surprised if you find your appetite for samba reawakening. Enjoy.
Start sitting on your heels or propped up on blocks. Place your hands on your thighs. Lengthen your spine from the pelvic floor to the crown of the head. Close your eyes. Breathe in and out through your nose. Every inhalation, lift and expand your ribs. Every exhalation, keep the expansion, soften your skin. As you breathe through your nose, keep your teeth slightly opened, keep jaw and tongue relaxed. Inhale, softly open your eyes. Come into all fours. Place your hands a little wider than your shoulders, shoulders over wrists. Place your knees just behind your hips. Tops of the feet are facing down, tops of the toes pressing down to lift the front of your ankles. Inhale, establish a fullness in your ribs and lift the ribs. Exhale, keep your knees where they are and push the tops of your thigh bones back towards your heels, establishing the natural curve in your low back. Keep the natural curves on your spine. Exhale, shift your hips back towards your heels, keep your ribs floating up and forward, and keep your tailbone lifted. Then, push your knees out to the sides to activate the glutes and the back of your legs. Inhale, pull your hands back to move back into all fours. Exhale, push your hands and knees forward to deepen your groins back. Continue this movement in a rhythm that suits your breath and fits to your awareness. Aim to have a fullness in your ribs at all times and to keep your tailbone lifted and low back and neck curved. The fullness creates a feeling of worthiness and ability and helps maintain the primary curve of our spine, which supports the secondary curves of the low back and neck. Lifting the tailbone will allow us more playful dynamism in our movement and open the tissue closer to our hips. Let's move into gate pose, left side. Exhale, shift your hips back. Inhale, from inside, lift your ribs up. Float your arms up to the sky and forward into a V shape. Exhale, sit your right hip back to your right heel. Lift the left knee, foot. Balance here for a moment. And then slowly and mindfully step the left foot to the left in line with the right knee. Keep your toes relaxed. Inhale, float your ribs up higher, lengthening the side body. And then exhale, lean your right ear to your right shoulder, arc over to the right. Create a side stretch over the whole left side. Touch down the right fingernails, walk them out more to the side and a bit more to the front, and then place the palm down. Place your left hand at the back of your head and point the elbow forward for ecstasy arm. Ecstasy arms makes it possible to maintain a fullness in the upper back and have absolutely nothing to do with EDM or contemporary club culture. Lean your head back into your fingers to open the throat. Very good. Pause the pose. Keeping your feet where they are, exhale, push both knees forward, shift your hips back more, and untuck your tailbone. Inhale, float the ribcage up and over to the right, filling up the right side ribs. Exhale, root your hips back. Inhale, float the ribs up and over. Keep pulsing back and forth to the rhythm of your breath. Inhale, move your weight more to your right hand, lift and bend the left knee for kneeling blue moon. Exhale, deepen your groins back. Inhale, lift your ribcage up higher, keep your right ear tipping to your right shoulder and crescent the whole spine. With your breath, start bike pedaling your leg, keeping your ankle flexed and toes relaxed. Exhale, push the leg straighter, and inhale, pull the heel in towards your hips. Imagine pedaling against the resistance to create engagement in both sides of the leg. Keep your jaw relaxed, teeth opened. Very good. Place your left knee back on the floor next to the right. Sit on your heels. Take a full breath in and out. And let's move to the second side. Inhale, float your ribs up. Float your arms up to the sky and forward into a V shape. And exhale, sit the left hip back to the left heel. Keep your tail lifted and belly long. Lift the right knee up and then the right foot. Balance here for a breath. And then mindfully step your right foot to the right in line with left knee. Inhale, lift up from inside, lengthen the sides of your body. And exhale, left ear to left shoulder, arc over to the left. Touch down left fingernails and walk your fingers out to the side more and in front of the left knee. Place the palm down. Place your right hand behind the back of your head, elbow pointing forward for ecstasy arm. Lean your head back and towards your fingers and open your throat. Begin to pulse the pose. Exhale, pushing your knees forward, hips rooting back. Inhale, belly long and forward, float the ribs up and over to the left. Fill up the right side ribs with your breath. Take mindful and slow pulses, creating a full stretch over the right side body. Stretching the sides of the body allows us to melt down the fascial adhesions which prevent our body from rising up more. Kneeling Blue Moon. Shift the weight more to your left hand. Lift and bend the right knee. Exhale, resist your knees forward. Move your sit bones further back. And inhale, keep the belly long, ribs lifting up and forward, left ear tipping down and head leaning back. Bike pedal your right leg. As you pedal the leg, keep the ankle flexed, toes relaxed. Imagine pedaling against the resistance, create tone on both sides of the leg. Nice going. Okay, come back into all fours. Tuck your toes under and then lift your knees up. Come into crouching cat. For crouching cat, keep your knees bent, your tailbone lifting, and your ribs full and lifting up as well. Pull your belly forward and start shifting the weight from left to right. Find a lightness in your movement by moving from the ribs. Good. Come back to center. Tip your left ear to left shoulder and turn your knees and toes to the right. Twisted cat, right side. On your exhalations, move the hips back towards your heels and behind your ribs. Keep the tailbone lifted, and on your inhalations, float your ribs forward and up. Push your right hand diagonally out to the right and up to increase the lengthening of your side body. On your exhalations, root your hips back towards your heels. Stay with the pulse. Lift the right side ribs up higher and lift the right arm up and reach it forward. Few more pulses. Touch your fingernails down again, and then the palm. Return to center. Second side. Tip your right ear to right shoulder. Turn your knees and toes to the left. Twisted cat, left side. Pulse in the pose like on the other side. Move your hips back on your exhalations. Lift your ribs forward and up on your inhalations. Push the left hand diagonally out to the left and up to deepen the stretch. Keep pulsing and breathing. Lift your left side ribs up higher. Lift the left arm and reach it forward more. Very good. Touch down fingernails, then the palm. Return to center. Let's do some cat burglars. Cat burglars are jumps forward and backward where you're landing silently on your toes. It's the perfect training for sneaking into the kitchen and stealing cookies at night. Keep your knees bent and pushing forward. Reach your sit bones further back and up. Tailbone lifts. Push off on your toes and jump forward and wide. Land just behind your hands. Jump back wide. Keep the ribs lifted and land on the toes and mounts to land silently. Hop back and forth, hopping high with your hips, staying wide and low with the knees so you don't fall over. Optional, float in handstand for a few breaths. Very good. Jump your feet forward and wide. Bend your knees. Place your hands on your knees one at a time and rise up to standing. Keep the knees slightly bent, hips reaching back. Rest your fingernails on your thighs, elbows in front of your ribs, recovery pose. Inhale, from your fingernails, float the center of the ribs up higher, and exhale through your mouth. Release tension in your body. Take 2 more deep, slow breaths. Step your feet hip-width apart, toe pads and mounts touching the ground first. Propeller pose, left side. Shift the weight to your right foot, hover your left heel. Dig the left toes down and forward, push the left knee forward and deepen the left groin further back. Drag the left heel back and up to engage the back of the leg all the way up to your glute. Lift the leg back into a square. Propeller pose. Float your arms forward and then touch all 10 fingertips together for globe hands. Elbows wide and reaching forward. Reach your hips back and fold forward until your ribs are above horizontal. Belly long. Pulse on the standing leg. As you pulse, keep your ribs lifting away from the floor, elbows reaching forward and away from the ribs. With the tailbone untucked, the glutes will get a chance to reawaken and relearn how to support the natural curves of our bodies once more. Optional here, press down stronger through your right toes, lift the right heel for Mercury pose. Keep pulsing. Good. Inhale, float your ribs up more. Exhale, take a step back with your left foot. Left knee is still in front of the left hip for Curvy high lunge. With both knees bent, place your fingertips on the front of your knees. Inhale, from your fingers, float your ribs up higher, and exhale, resist your knees forward. Reach your hips back more, untuck the tailbone. Stretch the right leg straighter to stretch the right hamstring. Good. Keep your teeth opened and your jaw soft. To get the most out of any hamstring stretch, be sure to fully untuck the tailbone and float the ribs up before straightening the leg. Bend the right leg. Inhale, slide your fingers back to your thighs, step forward, second side. Propeller, right side. Shift the weight to your left foot. Hover the right heel. Dig the right toes down and forward. Reach the right knee forward and reach the right hip further back. Untuck your tail. Drag the right heel back to tone the back of the leg and then lift it back into a square. Float your arms forward into globe hands on an inhale, elbows wide. And exhale, reach your hips back. Reach your belly long and forward until your ribs are above horizontal. Pulse on the left leg. Keep the tone in the back of your body to create a lightness that holds you afloat. The toned myofascia are bowstrings that prevent the bones from crashing down. Keep your face relaxed to prevent the settling of a permanent frown. Optional here as well, press down stronger through your left toes and then lift the left heel. Keep pulsing. Nice. Step your right foot back with your right knee still in front of right hip. Place your hands in front of your knees and inhale, float your ribs up. Exhale, resist the knees forward. Reach your hips back, untuck your tail. Stretch the front leg straighter to stretch your hamstring. Be mindful not to hyperextend the leg. Teeth opened, jaw relaxed. Breathe through your nose. Good. Exhale, bend your left leg and inhale, step forward. Fingernails on thighs. Cross ankle squat, left side. Shift the weight to your right foot and then drag the left foot. Lift the left knee straight up and then cross left ankle over right knee. Rotate the toes down towards the floor and place your left hand outside your left knee, right hand like a horseshoe over the left heel. With your left hand, pull your left knee more in towards the midline to widen the sitting bone out. Drag your left heel back into your right hand. Exhale, reach both knees forward and deepen the groins back, untucking your tail. Inhale, expand and float your ribs up and away from your hands. Keep reaching your hips back and wide as you pull your belly longer and forward and float your ribs up higher with every breath. Optional, float your arms forward and wide to find more length in the sides of your body and find a deeper tilt in the pelvis. To get the most out of any hip opening, the sit bones need to move back and widen out first. And this is most easily accomplished by bringing the same side knee in more and then reaching it forward to reach the hip back. 2 more breaths. Good. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, uncross the ankle. Step the foot back to the floor. Let's do the second side. Shift the weight to your left foot. Drag the right. And then lift the right knee up. Cross right ankle over left knee. Rotate the toes down. Right hand on the outside of right knee. Left hand horseshoe over the right heel. And then draw your right knee in towards the midline more. Exhale, reach your knees forward to reach your hips back more. Drag your right heel back into your hand to tone the glute. And inhale, expand, float your ribs forward and up. Belly pulls long. You can find a light pulse in the standing leg here or stay more static. Also optional, float your arms forward and wide, keeping the fingers curled in and relaxed. Stay relaxed with your teeth and jaw, keep the head lifting up and back. Inhale, come up. Exhale, uncross the ankle, step the foot back to the floor. Fingernails touching the front of your thighs. Wide-legged standing forward fold. Step your feet wider as your mat. Toe pads and mounts touch first. Place your fingernails on your front of your knees. Exhale, bend the knees deeply and resist them forward. Reach your hips back, untuck your tail. Inhale, expand your ribs, lengthen your belly and ribs forward. Keep the curves as you bring hands down on fingernails one at a time. Exhale, bend your knees deeper, reaching the hips further back. Bring your chin more towards your chest. Inhale, lightly lift your ribs away from the floor. Stretch forward from your belly. Repeat these actions a few times and notice how with every pull forward of the belly against the rooting back of the hips, the natural curves will start to become more present again in your spine. Keep your teeth and jaw relaxed for a natural and comforting flow of breath. Good. Place your palms down on the floor. Keep the ribs lifted. Step your feet back one at a time towards all fours. Keep the knees lifted and turn them to the right, and then bring your left hip down to the floor behind your ribs. Stack your knees, and then place your arms in Sphinx position on the floor and walk them more to the left. Exhale, reach your knees towards the right side of the mat, groins deepen back to the left. Inhale, ribs float up and forward, pulling the belly longer. Exhale, knees reaching to the right, hips rooting back to the left. One more breath. Good. Walk your arms back to center. Lift back up to the palms and lift back up into all fours. Turn to the other side. Knees to the left, hips reaching back behind the ribs to the right. Right hip down. Stack the knees and place your arms in Sphinx position. Walk them more to the right. Exhale, reach your knees further to the left, hips rooting to the right. Inhale, expand and float the ribs forward and up, pulling the belly longer. Good. Nice going. Walk your arms back to center, slide your right arm long and forward, lie on your side. Reach your left arm overhead and roll onto your back, off of your mat. Reach your arms up to the ceiling and then move your way back to your mat, keeping the curves in your spine. Grab the knees from the outside and let them open wide apart. Reach your knees forward into your hands to re-establish the curve, and then lightly push your knees into your hands to activate the glutes. Inhale, expand your ribs more, and exhale, reach your knees even further forward. Then stretch your legs down to the floor, one at a time. Feet as wide as your mat for Assimilation Pose. Use one of your hands to check if you still have the natural curve that you've just created. Then reach your arms up to the ceiling, cross at your forearms. Press them in toward one another and move your arms from left to right, filling up into the upper back and widening the shoulder blades away from the spine. Place your arms back wide on the floor, palms facing up. Keep the teeth slightly opened. Close your eyes. In assimilation, with your breath, create a lightness in your heart and find a grounding and rooting quality in your legs and hips. Allow yourself to rest here for a few minutes to integrate and absorb the benefits of your practice.